Sorry, I had to do a voiceover on this first part because my daughter was watching Disney shows while I was filming. But here's my DMRTA. I'm plugged into the output of the amplifier so you can get all the signal coming out of the amplifier. My subwoofers are back there. I won't be using the subs that are installed for the demo. I'll be using another one so you guys can see the subwoofer and what it does. I will also be using the DMRTA app on the computer with the RTA setting to show you guys what musically is coming out of the output, and that way you guys could have a visual representation of what the Shock 2.0 effect is doing when it's on and when it's off. And I will also be doing the same thing with the Epicenter, turning the Epicenter effect on and turning it off so you guys can see and compare both. I know it's kind of messy here. The system was already installed pretty poorly. As you can see, it's cheap 4-gauge wire. I'm going to have to redo the whole wiring and everything. It's all tapped in under the seat in the amplifier and brought to this RCA splitter over here, a cheap one, like a $5 one. I was kind of upset when I heard how much they paid for the system and what cheap job they did, but whatever, you know, I'll use it and do the best I can with it. I'll also put in a snippet of me trying to adjust for the factory roll-off on the factory system, which I had already done it by this point. I just didn't really get much footage of that as I was just trying to tune it out as best as possible by turning the gain features on the amplifier to try to counteract the bass roll-off. Right here I'm just showing you my cheap spectrum analyzer. I'm going to be switching to the DMRTA right now. This is going to be another video that I'm going to set up for another day. Kind of ran out of time today. It's already getting kind of dark, so you guys can tell they's feeding me. But yeah, so all it is, aux cable, mute cable, RCAs to a line out converter. I use a kicker. Got this one for like $10 on eBay. And then just plug in positives to positive terminal and negatives to negative terminal. Brown one just hangs out. And that's all you need. You download a RTA app on the Android tablet, plug it in, and it'll show you. I kind of already corrected the peak. This truck does have a little bit of bass roll off, but I turned the gain as well. Adjusted the gain, played with that to kind of keep it about 5 to 6 dB louder than the voice. So I already did that work. I'm gonna switch over to the RTA so we can start showing you what happens with the Shockwave and the Epicenter, which I got the Epicenter over there. So we'll show Shockwave first, show you what it's doing, and then I'll bring the subwoofer to kind of also demonstrate what the subwoofer does. I'm going to have to mute the audio just to not get copyrighted by YouTube, but I'll most likely upload the video with the audio on TikTok and then share the link on the YouTube video so you guys could go and watch the audio. So I'm dealing with dirty signal on my radio. That's 42. Gains right now. That's 44. 45. Now it's like it's going on the radio. Alright, I had to bring all the tools out. So going -5. This is -5 dB. I mean -10 dB. I'm able to get to 49 on the radio, which goes up to 60 something. Pretty clean wave on both. SMD keeps triggering. So turn this up all the way here, but we start distorting on that one, on this one. But I don't want any peaks, so I'm just gonna leave it there. That's where I'm gonna leave it. Found the sweet spot. Yeah, so I'm gonna roll with that. Alright, it's time for the part everyone came for. So we're gonna be showing off a little bit of the Shock 2.0 right now. The Kicker Shock 2.0 effect first. I'm gonna have it on RTA over here. Anything I play will kind of show a sound wave right there. I think that's as bright as it gets. It's a pretty bright day, so you should be able to see it. Today I'm gonna show you both scenarios with some non-copyright music and then some copyright music that I'll mute just to show you what the subwoofer is doing in comparison to what you're seeing on the screen over here. But so let's just get started. Let me go look for my playlist that I made the other day. I wonder if it goes in order. All playlists. Let's try this one. I think I like this one. We're gonna leave it on 70 dB for purposes of the video. But let's see if I can focus a little bit more on that. Put it a little bit higher so you can see the spectrum. 80 dB. We're peaking a lot still. 90 dB. We're peaking a lot at 40, 50 to 60. Those are the peaks, right? So now we're gonna give it a shot. This next shot. Feel some of the bands around it a little bit better. Let's turn it off. Turn it off. Completely off. Let's bring it up. Max shock right there. All the frequencies around it, so it kind of raises everything as it is and everything around it. It doesn't really drop anything, but it does make more bass, right? So let's try that again. Let's try this other side. More full spectrum. Shock right there. That's all just natural song. That's what the shocks go on. playing music, what I'm noticing is wherever it's peaking, it's just bringing up the frequencies around it. It's not really moving the spectrum lower. It's just boosting some of the frequencies that it already has. It's just bringing them up a little bit. Kind of a more natural tone than what the Epicenter does, but not really comparable when you listen to other type of music. So I'm going to play some copyrighted stuff now, so all of this will be kind of muted. But before that, I'm just gonna give you guys a little glimpse of how this stuff looks on the subwoofer playing. Wind it. Just forward a little. So we're gonna have our gain up. Max. This max gain. Now we're gonna turn up the shock effect. Shock effect on. Shock effect on. Shock effect off again. Shock effect on. So as you can see, it does bring tonality to the music, but nothing too crazy. Now I plugged in the Epicenter, and I have the inputs, the outputs of the Epicenter coming into the amplifier now. Signal processing. keeping the gain max like we had it for the testing for the shock effect. The shock will be completely off, and that won't be touched anymore. We'll be working with the ACR4 now from the AudioControl, and we'll see how that looks with the same music. Play that much, you could already see that the whole peak is moving towards 33 and 25 hertz and peaking even beyond that, and you could really feel it from the subwoofer. I don't know if you could really see the camera shaking, but let's do it again. No epicenter, no epicenter effect, natural curve. I'm gonna start adding a little bit of epicenter. You already see it peaking. With the shock, the whole mountain was kind of peaking, but you still have the roll off on the sides, kind of like how you see it right now. So it is more natural, but this just sounds more intense. So woofers outside my truck, and you can feel it shaking. Right? No epicenter. Epicenter. Completely different. Let's switch. Same song we had earlier as well. Epicenter off. Switch the voltage on the epicenter now, just to be a little. Actually, it's already at its lowest point. Surprise to me. Here's a little bit of epicenter. Again. Boosting way. Boosting into the 20s, well into the 20s, which you're not with the kicker, shockwave. The reason I just paused the video, the reason why you heard it kind of bottling me out is because this song is already low enough as it is. Doesn't really need the epicenter effect. But when you do turn it up, it, you know, really dips those frequencies down well past 20. And yeah, you could hear the subwoofer bottling me out in some of those notes. So, you know, it's just expecting when the low's too low and you cut it even lower, which is what the epicenter does. It cuts higher notes and brings them towards the left, you know, lower in the spectrum, and that's why you hear the bass more pronounced than the aftershock effect on the kicker amplifier. But nonetheless, let's go to the last scenario, and I'm gonna show you the copyright material. For YouTube, it'll be muted, but I'm gonna make a shorter video for TikTok, and then I'll put it in there so you guys can see the difference. pretty noticeable difference between the Shockwave and the Epicenter. For you guys that were looking to find out if this feature is worth it, if you're used to the Epicenter, no. It'll give it some more tonality, but technically what it's doing, it's whatever's peaking, you have like a mountain peak, right? So it's gonna be your high notes. It's just gonna bring up everything around it to kind of boost it. It doesn't really shift it the way the Epicenter does. The Epicenter takes the high point over here and moves it towards the left, making, so if you're at 40, 50, 60, you're gonna be at 20, 30, 40 now. So, and then it boosts it, so you get really low end bass. So I hope you guys were able to see the differences. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm gonna wrap this one up here, get all this cleaned up and get this at its permanent home. I'm still gonna have to change a lot of this stuff, but that'll be for another video.